It's Laura Eubanks of Design for Serenity with your succulent tip of the day. And you will recognize Holly's place in La Mesa. We were here just a couple of months ago taking a look at her little succulent tapestry. This is a really hot part of San Diego County. Temperatures can get quite warm and quite cool. So I'm always interested in stopping by to see what's going on. The bougainvillea, it's middle of April right now, and the bougainvillea is just pricelessly stunning. The Madagascar palm, our Lemerii, that she did not want to keep, and I talked her into it, that just has such incredible interest and has been here for ever, is blooming. These flowers smell just a little bit like a plumeria. And since this plant has been here for so many years, I'm never worried about it. If your Lemerii pachypodiums have some yellow bottom leaves or maybe naked, don't worry about it. This plant is very, very sensitive to cold nighttime temperatures and will drop its leaves. But that is not a problem. As soon as things warm back up, the leaves will come back. Always remember to evaluate the health of your plant by the leaves around the crown and their health, not so much the ones from underneath. These are older and this, naturally deciduate over time. So I'm sorry, I'm a slight bit distracted right now pulling bougainvillea leaves out of this because, well, I have to. Okay, so, we might as well start here. Now that I've got something to point with, we can take a look at here's another one of those Portalacaria minimas. We talked about this one yesterday up at my son's in Claremont, California, and how much I like the fact that it's slower growing than the Portalacaria Aphra Varagata. The Millii Ready Red, this is one that I have mixed success with. I just never know how it's going to do, but here in La Mesa, it's clearly thriving. This garden is not irrigated. Holly waters by hand, and she is a gardener and has a real sense of things, and I think has done a really nice job of watering appropriately for the seasons. We've got a little Echeveria agavoides that, take a look at this. See how these leaves are black underneath? This got a little too wet at some point in time. It is not rotten, it is fine, but at one point we did get, a pretty heavy amount of rainfall, and I think it may have taken a little bit of a hit because these are not happy leaves. But once again, when you look at what's going on in the center of the plant, you can see that it's very, very healthy and throwing off very healthy tissue. It's even pupping. And in time, this agavoides will spread and become quite the statement in this part of the garden. Another thing that you can do to kind of encourage mom to send her energy to pupping is when the blooms are spent, to be quick to snip them off. No point in throwing energy to something that's done. So now we can just enjoy and watch this plant continue to thrive. The little mammillaria looks amazing. And the agave ray of light looks like it got just a little bit of sunburn. Remember yesterday at our son's, the one that got hit with the frost, the leaves were kind of black. This paling of the leaves is pretty indicative of sunburn, and that's really just cosmetic. Here's more agavoides. These are much more red than that green one over there on the other side. So I'm not sure if that is due to just exposure or if that's a different variety of agavoides, which is very possible.
Look at the wrinkling of these leaves, Mom. What is that?
Where?
Well, all the underleaves. They're wrinkled.
These?
Yeah.
Yes. The wrinkling of this looks like a little setivaria. And again, you know, with the underleaves, we don't worry too much about them because they are old, but it looks like this may have gotten dry at some point, and Mom used all the energy and all the water out of those leaves to support growth. But the new growth on the top is very, very healthy and happy. It's even throwing off beautiful little blooms. So that's fine. Here's elegans. Here's what the plant that we were talking about at John's yesterday that I can't really find here. It's Mexican snowball, and it's not the happiest. I have noticed here in San Diego that this plant is happiest with some protection. So if I were doing this installation again, I would likely move this perhaps back here behind the sunburst aeoniums, or maybe back over there somewhere where it wouldn't be as exposed. It's possible that in time, though, these Sedum Adolphi might do a job of kind of creating an umbrella effect there. Look at this platyphylla, this Crassula platyphylla, how red it is. The ones in John's garden up in Claremont, remember I was complaining that they were very green? This is what I'm used to these looking like. Now this Crassula ovata variegata got hammered by the sun. This is all sun damage here. That's rough, but also just cosmetic. And I could make a living out of picking bougainvillea leaves up out of this garden and be happy doing it.
Sure.
Yes, please.
Of course.
The Crassula undulata looks great. There is a little Echeveria, looks like maybe Black Prince hiding under here, that is also really, really happy right now. You can see that this stand of Aeonium sunburst has thrown off air roots, stabilizer roots. These go all the way down and connect into the ground and give anchors or support to these branches to keep them from breaking. It's genius on the part of the plant. Just love seeing that. And this Cameronii looks very much like, yes, it has rooted. And Hannah says, aren't you supposed to come to a maintenance here? Yeah, she's right. I should probably leave it. Gosh darn it. It's so hard. But yes, I will be pulling that up, cutting off the roots and resetting it. Now is a really good time before the weather gets too hot. Here's the Portalacaria Aphra variegata. We looked at the minima over on the other side. Here's the Aphra variegata. And I love this plant. I love the modeling of the leaves, the kind of lime and white. But it can become a little overpowering, so we'll have to watch that. I don't want it taking over. There's a little Dudleya Bretonii tucking its little face through right there. I love that. That's pretty. And this Cotyledon mint truffles looks fantastic. Of course, all the sedums and the Verahiggins look fantastic. Yeah, the stacking back there. I'm not sure what was behind that, but something died. Look at that. It's just dead sticks. It looks like a bird's nest. Could it have been the Lycopoidioides? It's possible. Something. I mean, you know it's dead when you can't even recognize what it was. Here is a little Euphorbia Trigona, and hollies, for whatever reason, looks like it is doing fantastic. I don't see any of the typical little spots of fungus or corking that I've seen in so many of them this year. So that's really encouraging. This plant looks gorgeous. Then, you know, these little sedums clearly are going to need, you know, some deadheading. Oh man, that got hammered. More of that ovata variegate. Just got burnt. Darn it. I don't know. I mean, we put this garden in, what is this, April? I feel like we did it right like in July, or I'd have to go back and look, but I feel like it was summertime. I remember it was really hot the day we installed it. So, you know, that variegated Crassula back there is fine. This one got slammed. So, you know, in time I might make some changes Maybe I will move the Fantastic, the Kalanchoe Lucier Fantastic. This microclimates, that's all it is. We just need to make some tweaks. I don't think this plant is going to do well here. And this Kalanchoe, look at this, is what it's supposed to do. So, okay, monocarpic plant bloomed out. Mom's going to die, but take a look at what she has left behind. Look at all of those beautiful little babies. So we can cut off this stem really low and just allow this and support these smaller plants, which will in time grow to be as big as this Fantastic, which is a different variety of Lucier. This is the standard. This one's leaves curl more and it has more variegation in it. But surprisingly did very, very well throughout the winter and with the heat that we have had unseasonally this spring. Okay, then we've got some brevifolia here, aloe. This is a winter chicken dinner. I mean, you can't go wrong with aloe brevifolia. It stays really small and compact. It's very slow growing, and it's just a great low profile plant for your garden, particularly amongst all of the softness, the echeverias and the sedums around it. And this little sedum jelly bean here. We've got more Kalanchoe, lots more pups. This sunburst aeonium doesn't look like it fared quite as well as the one on the other side. And these plants are about 6 feet apart. And it's just amazing to me how different the response to the climate can be in such a small space. This aloe striata looks great. These blooms are almost done. When I come do maintenance, I'll probably take them off.
Did you notice that the driftwood looks like a hand?
Oh, Hannah says that the driftwood, this part here, looks like a hand. Yeah, there's the fingers. Oh, that's so funny. Yeah, we want to make sure that we keep this driftwood exposed. So in a maintenance, I might bring in a little more soil, lift the driftwood up a little higher. Just little tiny tweaks. I don't see anything. God, I can't help it. I'm sorry. Oh, God, it feels so good to do this. You poor things. I don't really see anything at all major. Client ordered, she said, some plants from Annie's Annuals, and she wanted me to plant them if she thought that they were salvageable. These look like, well, obviously they're aeoniums, but oh, this is actually a Zwartkop.
Yeah.
Had I known that she wanted to throw in some Zwartkop, I could have got her some from Waterwise, like nice ones. So I think what I'm going to suggest to her, I'm going to put these on the porch and tell her to not water them again ever. I'm going to put these right here where they're going to get a little protection from the sun. And she and I will have a come to Jesus about the Aeonium Zwartkop. And I think that some black rose would look good in here, but obviously some bigger, better specimens. So, oh my gosh, Hannah, you have got to see this Orgialis, Kalanchoe Orgialis, copper spoons. Look at that. Perfection. Look at that. I mean, we got hail down in Chula Vista, and all the leaves on my copper spoons got pilled. Didn't happen here. This is the prettiest Orgialis copper spoons I've ever laid my eyes upon. And then little Sedum rubertinctum with a lot of bougainvillea leaves that need to be groomed out. And her Ruchia.
Very happy.
Yeah, very happy. Lots of little buds on that. I don't see, here's a little bit of weeds. Not much, just a tiny little bit. Easy peasy. Oh my goodness. Yeah. So that's Holly's garden. I think when we come back to do maintenance, we'll probably spend, believe it or not, a couple hours doing some deep grooming and perhaps some moving of a few things, maybe adding a couple of Zwartkop aeonium, cutting down that Kalanchoe Lucier. But I want you to, really take note of the plants and where we put them when we did the installation, and how important it is ultimately when you're designing your spaces to have an understanding of how things are going to grow in time. This is just knitting together. Everything is growing exactly as I wanted it to, and ultimately is extraordinarily sustainable. So until we come back for maintenance, I hope this inspires you to get out and do some deadheading, perhaps some moving around, and some cleaning up in your own landscape spaces. This has been Laura Eubanks of Design for Serenity with your succulent tip of the day in La Mesa. Bye, guys.